Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Puranamunina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. In the last class on the third instant, we studied the verses 20 and 21 of this chapter 5. In those verses we learnt that the man of self-realization, that is a Brahmavid, knower of Brahman, is beyond body self-delusion and is established in the knowledge of Atman Brahman. Therefore, he is equipoised in his mind towards all the pleasant or unpleasant occurrences. Number 2, even by renouncing the enjoyments of senses, one experiences great peace. What to speak of when one is established in the oneness of Brahman Atman? There the joy is undecaying and infinite. Today we learn further in this subject. We proceed to the verse 23. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayoneyevate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkhayoneyevate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. The question may be raised that if he is beyond both pleasant and unpleasant things, that means pleasant things are also he is not aware of. He does not enjoy the pleasant things also. Then how can you call that state as a very high state of joy when pleasant things itself are not experienced? So in reply to that one, this verse says, Yehi samsparshaja bhogaha te dukkhayonaya eva. Samsparshaja bhoga. Samsparsha means the objects of enjoyment. The good sights or good sounds, good taste, good smell and good touch. All these things, those things that are objects for our five senses and mind, they are called the samsparsha. So the joy that comes out of coming into contact with these objects of senses, that means the different joys of the senses, they are dukkha yonaya yevate. They only generate only sorrow in the final analysis. Some may appear as pleasant, but they end up in sorrow. So, though we call them as pleasant, some of them, they are also unpleasant only in the end. For example, many of the things in the world, we are not satisfied with anything in the world. That we come to know when we become more and more mature in life. What we thought as very pleasant and very enjoyable and very acceptable, desirable, they all become undesirable, unacceptable, and things which we don't care much, we are not satisfied. So the dissatisfaction haunts us throughout our life as soon as we become mature and in thinking. So he says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga. The bhoga, the experiences of joy which come out of the contact with the senses. Te dukkha yonaya eva. They only cause, in the end up in sorrow only, in misery only, in dissatisfaction only. That is an experience. For example, most of us think that a postgraduate degree or a postgraduate degree, a doctorate, would give us all prestige, all joy. We would be great people in society. But how many thousands of us have got these degrees, But are we all satisfied? We are not satisfied. So because we say, I may have a degree, but that fellow, the same degree he has got, he has become a head of the department, I am only an ordinary lecturer. You see, the degree has not given you the joy which you thought by possessing the degree, you will be very happy. Oh, when I become a doctorate, everybody will come and fall at your feet. Nothing happens like that. So you are dissatisfied. But you come to know only after you attain to that state. This is the tragedy of it. Our discriminative faculty, our perception through reasoning in our mind is so dull. We are unable to imagine what would happen after 10 years. What is the effect of what I do now, after 1 year, after 2 years, or after 10 years? If we can project ourselves 10 years ahead, we can overcome much of the difficulties, but it doesn't happen. Most of us, 99.99% of us, we can think only of today, nothing beyond today. What will happen tomorrow also we cannot think. I am doing something today, and tomorrow what will happen, I don't, without thinking, I go on doing it. For example, most of our overdoing things. Somebody wants to play, some chess play, let us say. They say, all right, today we have got some leisure, today is Sunday, some 3-4 hours we shall sit and play. They sit at 12 o'clock, and then it is 4 o'clock, but they are going on with the chess play. I thought, 4 o'clock it is the evening walk time, you please go. You have got diabetes, you should have to take a walk in the evening. No, wait, this one game we will finish and go. That game will go up to 8 o'clock in the night. Then people come and remind, at least night food is ready. You take the early food so that it will be digested, you can have a good sleep. No, wait, the last one game I am going to play, and it will go up to 12 o'clock. We overdo things, but when we start it, suppose, don't we know, it is such a sort of a addictive play, this chess. It can drag you through day, through night, 2 days together. People become mad after it. There is a story, somebody was playing, was addicted to a chess play. He was playing chess in the next door. Then somebody came and told him, your son has been bitten by a snake, please come and attend to him. This fellow is not ready to leave the chess. He is so much intoxicated with it. He is telling, go and find out what sort of a snake it is. Afterwards come and report. He doesn't want to go. Just imagine the intoxication. Son may die there. That also is not a criterion for him. When he is intoxicated with this game, this we do. Suppose even before we sat for a chess play, we just think this is an intoxicating play. It will not be under my control. I should not start it today. So we will see when we become old, when we are 60 years or 70 years, when there nobody wants us. So then you can go on playing chess morning, evening, night, nobody bothers. When we have got our duties in the society, we should never indulge in any of these addictions. It is a dangerous thing. But we cannot think. We don't think what will happen after 12 hours. Suppose I don't go and attend my duties in society, then how much of difficulty we are creating for others. And it may irreparably create losses for you in your life. But we cannot think beyond a present moment. A little joy is there. So the joy of chess playing will come to a great misery at the end of 12 hours when you have neglected so much of duty, and suppose that relative who has been bitten by the snake, something fatal happens to him. Whole life you will be repenting for what you did. So what was you thought as joy, dukkha yonaya, it became the cause of your lifelong repentance, lifelong misery. This is the case with everything. So whatever we do, we cannot think beyond tomorrow. For eating also, we overeat. Don't you know we overeat? We know. Our limits we know. But we overeat. Knowing also, I think it's a very good preparation. Nothing will do. But nothing will happen means your system is addicted to only a particular amount of food. If you take more, you are going to suffer from indigestion or something more than that. But we suffer at the end. But we will not listen to our inner voice or inner dictation. So this is the case of all the enjoyment of the sense pleasures, the pleasures that comes through our senses. So this samsparshaja bhoga, the joys that come through our senses, dukkha yonaya eva te, they are only creators of misery in the end. Though may appear joyful in the beginning, they end up in misery. Why? Apart from this, it is the very nature we overdo things and we don't calculate things properly, and so we get into trouble. There are even very nature of certain things are there. Adi antavantaha kaunteya. That all the joys, they have got a beginning and they have got an end. It is a short-lived one. All joys are only short-lived. Even what we call as lifelong joys, they are also short-lived. And we don't, and in some cases, we think it is lifelong joy. It may not be a lifelong joy also. Many things we calculate. This will last for 35 years. It will not last more than 3.5 years. It happens like that. Some people build a house. So I will be here in this first full generation. Next generation will take care of it. So this house will go for 30 years. Can you be sure with the present day engineers that your house will go for 30 years? This house, our own first house, first ashrama building built here, it was built in 1907 and it started leaking in 1911. After 4 years, what sort of an engineering is it? In 4 years it started leaking and Swami Ramakrishna had to hold the umbrella over Sri Ramakrishna's picture whole night because water was leaking from the roof. Then afterwards Swami Brahmananji came after a few years. He said, this has become very dilapidated, leave it and go for a new house. And the second house was constructed, second ashrama was constructed. So Ramakrishna must never have thought that it would last only for 4 years. He must have certainly thought at least 35 years, 40 years, in those times at least 50 years it would have lost. The present building which was built in 1917 and it is 2010, 83 years it has been standing, perfect order. So people think it will stand for 80 years, but suppose it starts leaking at 4 years. You cannot say. So adi antamanta is short-lived. All the joys of our life, all the contacts and the friendships and the pleasantries we have with society, with persons, with things, they are all adi antavanta. They have a beginning and suddenly the end comes. Beginning and end, they follow one after another. When there is a beginning and end, that means a limited space of time, and you do not know what is the length of time that is there kept for you. With this indefinite time that is given to our enjoyment, and there definitely being a beginning and an end, what enjoyment is there? So that is why Buddha gave up the life, gave up his worldly life, and when he was going away, a big song he heard, and that song said, so many times we have come to this world to enjoy, but we did not get any enjoyment. We went away without enjoyment. Again we came. Again and again we are coming. How long will you go around this world? So we say that we always think that joys live with us forever. And it does not live. Everyone sees. Even then we believe that it will live again always with us, and we indulge in this sensual joys. So all the samsparshaja bhoga, the joys that emanate from the objects of the senses, that means sense pleasures, dukkha yonaya evate, they are causes of misery. They generate misery. They end up in misery in the end. So beginning it may appear very happy, but in the end you feel remorseful, you feel dissatisfied, you feel miserable. You think that I could have done better if I had thought about it earlier. Because adyantavantaha, they are very short-lived. They have a beginning and an end. Anything that has got a beginning and an end cannot give us joy, because we always calculate for a lasting joy, lasting peace and lasting things. So when something does not last as we imagine, we feel miserable. That is true of everything. Our relationship in society, somebody becomes a prime minister. He thinks for at least next full 5 years I will be prime minister. But it has never happened in our prime ministers. After Pandit Nehru, only a few have completed 5 years, they say. Very few. Simply imagine. So they thought that all their life they will be Prime Minister. But they could not complete even one term. So many Prime Ministers, so many big officers, they all take the high administrative degrees, they come, all of them will end up as the heads of the government, secretaries or super secretaries, principal secretaries. Everybody thinks, is it ever possible? There are 50,000 IAS or IPS or IFS officers are there. Can all of them become the heads of department or chief secretaries or principal secretaries? They cannot. Only an infinitesimal part become. And what about the state of all others? They will go on telling, I deserve that state. He has superseded me. Every time the Supreme Court somebody is appointed, you have got that complaint. So has been superseded before. How was he superseded? It has been happening. Somebody openly admitted, it does happen. We do supersede. What can you do? This is what is the world is. We imagine it in one way and it happens other way. It brings misery. So everybody wants to be happy always, but nobody is happy always because of the intrinsic nature of the sense pleasures. Whatever we think that we derive physical pleasures out of it, we should always think it is not possible to have permanent physical pleasures, because physical pleasures come through the senses, and the senses themselves are going on changing. Today my senses are strong, I play football, and after 45 years I feel like playing football, but I cannot run even half a kilometer. To play football in 1.5 hours, you have to run 35 kilometers. Then only you can play football. Otherwise, you will not be admitted there at all. So, 35 kilometers you have to run. You have no capacity of 1.5 kilometers. You say you want to play football, but you cannot play. Senses have deceived you. 10 senses were strong at a particular stage. The same, they have become weak. So, what you wanted to enjoy at that time, if you want to enjoy now, you cannot. So, you feel miserable. Suppose I did not play football at all, I would not be tempted to play football. But I go and play. When I am young, all people that are young will go and play football. And when they become old, oh, we have become old, we cannot play now. How nice we enjoyed it. They are remorseful of that one. So that fact is brought to us. Therefore, when you say that even pleasant things if you give up, how can you call that state as a state of joy? The reply is this one, there is nothing like pleasantness here. Only temporary pleasantness. If we grant this one, we are happy. Let us be sure that this joy that is come to us, by the grace of God it has come. It will last as long as He wishes, and someday it will go. Let us be ready for its exit also. We are now ready only for the entrance, but not for exit. That which has entered must exit. Wherever you have entered, you exit. Where you did not enter, that is your own house. So if there you don't have to exit. You can be there all 24 hours. You enter into a cinema hall, you have to come out of it. You enter into an ashrama, you have to get out of the ashrama. So wherever you enter, you have to get out. Similarly, this life also. We have entered the life, we have to get out of the life. So our span of enjoyment is only the full span of our life, which is very, very pretty short, only 100 years, out of which we are unaware of ourselves for the first 20 years. First 20 years, people do not know how they should live a happy life. They do not have any idea of life at all. The children, this young boys that are going to college or school, they are not aware that there is a life before them and they have to live it and they have to get equipped for it. Only when they pass out and come with a degree outside and then they go for a job, then they don't know there is a life to live. Then you have got a degree certificate in your hand. They say we have no job. So first place, second place, third place, fourth place, you feel what is this the life? I thought that just if I bring a certificate, I should be able to get job wherever I want. In my own locality, jobs are waiting for me. When you come out, you are disillusioned. The life presents its bitter side before us. So we do not know what life at all for the first 20 years. And then afterwards, another 30 years. After 50 years, people say, no, we want to retire and settle somewhere. They have lost interest in life. Why, how much of life left for our enjoyment? Only 30 years. Very short. That is why we are not satisfied with the enjoyment of the physical life. But life is not only physical. Life has got other dimensions. There is mental life is there. There is spiritual life is there. Those that are acquainted with spiritual life through their purified mind, there is nothing like an old age, there is nothing like a retirement, there is nothing like a beginning or an end to it. The spiritual life is an eternal life. We have that. We have to cultivate that spiritual life. Therefore, the joys of the senses are not the things, are not the ends of our life, but spiritual joys are the ends of our lives. What is the spiritual joy? Spiritual joy is constant remembrance that we are the children of God, and God is our own Father, Mother, and He is always with us. We are always with Him. We are guided by Him. He guides the whole world. His whole world is His, and I am also His. Whole world belongs to me. I belong to the world. There is nothing to be afraid of this world. If such ideas bubble from your heart always, you have nothing to worry about it. You are always in joy. The real joy is in this, realizing this real joy of spiritual life. Spirit is infinite. We are infinite as spirit, as Atman. So as Atman, we are part and parcel of Paramatma. Paramatma is full of joy always. So we are also full of joy. Anandam Brahma. Sat Chit Anandam Brahma. The Brahman is always eternal. It is always existing. It has no death. And then it is full of infinite knowledge and power. It is full of infinite joy, infinite love. And we are part and parcel of it. That means we are also like that. So if we realize this one, this is a spiritual joy. So the spiritual joy, it does not allow us to get into this samsparshaja bhoga, this sensual joys. People who rejoice in spiritual joy, they keep away, they eschew the sensual joys. Those people are indulging in sense joys, they can never get into the spiritual joy. Each are exclusive one another. Tulsidas said, Jahan Ram tahan Ram, Jahan Kam tahan Ram nahi, Jahan Ram tahan Kam nahi. Kama means the lust for enjoyments of the world. Where this Kama is there, you will not get the joy of spirituality. Rama represents the spiritual joy. Jahan Kama tahan Ram nahi. Where lust is there, where physical enjoyments are the objects of their life, for such people there is no spiritual joy. They can never feel secure in the presence of God. They can never feel peace and joy. What is there for me to worry? God is there to protect me. He never feels afraid of any circumstances. He is never perturbed over anything. He is strong, steady, sedate. So such a state will come to a spiritual man. So that cannot be there if we are just thinking that we are physical beings and are indulging in the physical joys. Similarly, those persons who are enjoying the spiritual joy, they don't indulge in the physical joys at all. As we see, and all the famous people, even not only spiritual people in the sense that they are thinking about God, even the people who have dedicated themselves for social service, those people, great leaders, who have sacrificed their all for the welfare of others, they are also not aware of their own difficulties. Great people, they die very poor. They have not acquired any big amount. They have not insured all their family or their own persons. When they die, people find there nothing is there. This means they have lived for the world. They have not thought about themselves. And they have become immortal. We call them as great immortal leaders. So wherever there is spiritual joy, there is no place for this physical joy. So what we call as joys of this world, there are no joys at all. Because in the beginning itself, there is a beginning and an end. It is a short-livedness that creates problem. Or in the end, as a result of our senses failing to respond to the impulses of the object, then we feel miserable, and there is the mutual animosity in the society also. You see, suppose you get promoted, you are qualified for it, you get promoted in your own place. Let us you become a CEO of a big company. You are qualified for it, you have worked hard for it. After 13 years, you have been promoted as a CEO. What has got the society to do with it? But do you think this society will leave you? There will be 15 people below you. They will tell you, we deserved that one. He has superseded us. He has done it illegally. He has taken to illegal means. He has gone and influenced such and such a person. So he became a CEO, whereas he should have come to me. That means there jealousy is there. Jealousy is there. Competition is there. When you feel that you have come, I have come out of my hard work and attained to this level, when you think, suddenly you hear the news, so-and-so was blaming that you have superseded them. So-and-so is telling that he knows more than you, but then you have presented yourself as knowing more than him. So this animosity, this jealousy of this competition will take away the joy of your real achievements also. So you are always afraid in the next promotion when it comes. You are thinking, maybe so-and-so is planning against me, maybe so-and-so is jealous about me, what he is doing. So the whole society is working against you, you think. So all the joy will go. This is part and parcel of our life. That is why he say, in the beginning itself, Vartamana Kale api, the Acharya says, Spardha asuyadi vyaptatvate. Spardha is competition. Asuya is jealousy. Even in the present enjoyments of us, I am enjoying something. I have earned myself. I have built a big house. I am sitting inside. But people are jealous of me. How can I stop it? So when I hear that so many people are jealous, sometime or other I feel I should not have built this house at all. Why should I make so much people jealous? I feel so bad. Whenever I go, they comment like that. Oh, that fellow now he thinks he is a big man. Let us see how long he will live in that house. So if I go on hearing that one, what joy is there? So spardha asuya vyaptatvati. In everything there is the competition, there is this jealousy. Competition and jealousy takes away the joy of the physical joys. Therefore, first of all, it's short-lived. Second, it creates jealousy and competitions. And third one is, in the finally, we feel dissatisfied with everything in this world, because it will never be as per our imagination. Our imagination is, it will last at least as long as I live. At least it lasts 100 years. This is how we expect. We don't expect anything that we create, that it will go away even when I am living. So if it goes away after I die, it doesn't matter. At least as long as I live, this will be with me. How many desires, such desires are satisfied? It does not. These are the facts of life. So the Bagavad Gita says, why these joys of the senses are not desirable is because they bring in the end misery. Therefore, don't go after the joys of this world. So that when you don't go for the joys of this world, your mind is restrained, it becomes calm, it becomes one-pointed. This mind can be applied to meditation on our own divine nature, Atman. When we meditate on Atman, we get Sukham Akshaya Mashnute. In the previous sloka, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkayone yevate. When we give up this sensual enjoyment, the calm mind can be applied for meditating on the Atman. And then Sukham Akshaya Mashnute. In the previous sloka I said, when such calm mind is applied for contemplation, one realizes the joy that is in infinite proportions in our own Atman. So inside ourselves there is infinite joy. Outside us there is very, very infinitesimally small joys in the form of sensual enjoyments. Which would you prefer? That is the challenge. So if you prefer the external joys, you lose the internal one. If you choose the internal, you have to lose the external one. Which would you lose? For which? So if somebody says that I will rather have the eternal joy for this ephemeral joy, he is an intelligent man. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametaha tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha shreyo dhiro abhipreyaso vrinite preyo mando yogakshemad vrinite. Kathopanishad says, every man encounters this challenge, Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas is the eternal good. Preyas is small good, ephemeral good. the joys of the senses, joy of the Atman. So whenever they always situations present before you, will you opt for the spiritual joy? Will you opt for the sensual joy? If you give up the sensual joy, you will get spiritual joy, which is long lasting. If you give up that one and take for this, you can take, but this will be only short lived. Which do you want to select? He that selects the eternal joy, he is the real preyo hi dhiro abhipreyaso vrinite. Shreyas is the eternal joy of the Atman. He who opts for the eternal joy of the Atman, he is called dhira. Dhira means the real hero who dwells in his own mind. Dhiya ramante iti dhira. They reside, they depend upon their intellect to guide them. So they follow their intellect. Intellect says it is eternal joy is preferable to this ephemeral joy. Our mind says, our intellect says, we follow our intellect. Therefore we becomes dhira. Dhira means dhiyaramante iti dhira. Those who dwell in their own intellect, they follow their intellect, take proper decisions at the proper time. Such people, they are the real intelligent people who elect for the eternal as against the ephemeral. And there are people who select the ephemeral also as against the eternal. They are called preyo mando yogakshemad vinite. Even they were called manda, foolish fellows. One is a very intelligent fellow who selects the eternal as against the ephemeral. Other fellow who selects the ephemeral against eternal is called preyo mando yogakshemad vrinite. He thinks yogakshema, something comes, something new, let me acquire now and let me enjoy it. So he thinks of only a short span. Let me be happy now for the last 3 years. Afterwards, what will happen in Swarga, or what will happen when I go to Kailas or Vaikunta? That is all written, I don't know. This is positive, straight in front. Let me take care of this. So he goes for the ephemeral joys. He is called Mandaha. Mandaha means he is a dull-witted person, a foolish person. So when he could have got the eternal joy, he goes for the ephemeral joy. So that shloka said, what we call as the enjoyments in this world, be careful about that. Not that there are not enjoyments, but they are here and they are not there. They disappear. If you are ready for it, go for it. But then so much of time will be waste. Many times we enjoy, so we do not know how much time we have gone. So maybe 3 years or 4 years we are indulging something. In the end that leaves us once and for all. So it's is this for this I came and there is no enjoyment at all now. The enjoyment has left me once and for all. There is nothing to enjoy now. What shall I do now? It creates a hunger in you for enjoyment, but there is nothing, no object for you to consume. It is just creating a hunger in you, and then there is nothing to eat. What a terrific thing it is. That's what happens in the enjoyment of the physical things. It creates a samskara in you, a imprint on your mind. You have a desire to enjoy it, but you may not get that opportunity again at all. So our dissatisfaction increases. That means we become dissatisfied, miserable, unhappy. So what we thought as happiness ended us in unhappiness. Dukkha yonaya evate. They are the cause of our misery because they are short-lived. They come and go away. We are not aware. They come and go away. But when they go away, if they go away once and for all, from our mind also it is perfectly all right. But they cannot go away. They leave an impression on our mind, a desire to enjoy them, but the objects disappear. So that's just like Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra gave up all his tapasya. And then that celestial damsel who came, she disappeared, Urvashi. She goes away. Then he says, for what did I sacrifice all my tapasya? So that I can live with this Urvashi. This Urvashi has disappeared and leaving that Shakuntala with him. He has to take care of the Shakuntala. Then somehow Shakuntala was taken care of by her father, another Rishi, Kaundinya or whoever it is. Then she grows up, the story goes. You see, he thought that their relationship with the celestial damsel and him would continue for all long. It did not. A Rishi like him could not understand. It is an ephemeral joy. And later on, He was very repentant. Again he went for tapasya. How many times in the life of Vishwamitra we see, he thinks that something he has to do. If he has to do means all his tapasya will go. In the end he finds it is useless. He has lost all the tapasya but nothing there. He has not gained anything positively. Again he goes for tapasya. So this is the experience of life. Therefore Bhagavad Gita says, why go for ephemeral pleasures? Go for eternal pleasure, immortal pleasure of the Atman. Then the next sloka takes, as liberation is the highest aim of man, as the urge of desire and anger is its great enemy, it's only the man who is able to withstand it attains liberation. So this liberation or mukti comes to those people who have kept their anger and desire under control. And those who can be free from anger, free from desire, their mind will be always calm. The calm mind, they never forget their divine nature and the nature of and the state of God being with us always. That gives them the tremendous joy, tremendous security, tremendous stability. So this one is possible as long as they keep themselves away from anger and lust. Shaknoti heva yassodam prak sharira vimokshanat kama krodhodbhavam vegam sayuktaha sa sukhi naraha. He who is able, shaknoti, ihaiva yaha sodhum prak sharira vimokshanate. He who is able to control kama krodhodbhavam vegam, the urge of lust and anger. Lust means it is not only the lust that through which we create our progeny. Lust for other enjoyments also. Lust for seeing sights, lust for hearing good things, lust for eating things. Every lust is only an extreme word for desire. So when desire becomes very, very strong, we call it as lust. So desires, unless one keeps one's desires under control, and anger. Anger is always a product of desire. A desireless man has no anger. If a person has a desire only, when you put an obstacle to his desire, he becomes angry. Child wants to go out of your home. You say, don't go. It is not the time for you to go. I will take you out in the evening. Immediately comes and kicks the mother and herself. Why? You did not allow me to go. He becomes angry. That little fellow, of 1 year if he can become angry, what wonder is there that we people become angry? This fellow only 1 year old. His ego is so small. Even he becomes angry because he was not allowed to go out when he wanted to go. So when desires are obstructed, it turns into anger. Desire and anger are the same. They are two forms of expression. So when something is moving in one direction, then you call it, this is Ganga. Then suppose you stop that one, put a dam there and send away the water, half the water in another direction. You say, this is canal number 1. The same water. It is Ganga only, but you have taken it in a different direction. So you don't call it as Ganga. This is canal number 1 of that dam. So give the name of the dam. That dam may be a damned name, some dam will be there. So you say some Chintanapalli. So this is Chintanapalli dam number 1. The Chintanapalli dam canal number 2. It is Ganga because it has changed another form of it. It assumes a different name. Even big Ganga herself takes different names. When the Ganga enters into Bangladesh, it is called Meghnad. So when it comes into West Bengal, it is called Ganga. So why do you call this Ganga here and Meghna river there? Meghna. It changes the course. Its direction is changed, name also is changed. Ganga and Yamuna both get mixed up. Ganga and Yamuna get mixed up in Allahabad. Afterwards, one name itself disappears. Only one name of Ganga remains. Yamuna disappears once and for all. Because they were taking two different courses. They had two names. So they combined together. So they cannot have two names. Only one name. Which name is to be given? So the Devatas had a big quandary. So Ganga says, my name should be there. Yamuna says, my name should be there. After Allahabad, where Ganga and Yamuna combine together, there is only one river. That one river, what is to be the name of that one? Ganga says, name it as Ganga. Yamuna says, name it as Yamuna. What will you do? You cannot say Ganga Yamuna. That will not be there. There is no name like that. So Devatas, it is said, they came, all right. Both of you, we will have a compromise. So one of your color will be there, and for one, your name will be there. Which would you like to have? Yamuna said, I will want to retain my color. Yamuna is associated with Krishna in Vrindavan. So she wants to have that blue color. No, I want to have my color. All right. So your blue color will be there after Varanasi. If you see in Varanasi, Ganga is blue. Blue waters from Ganga flows from Varanasi. That is Yamuna's color. And name Ganga. So both of them are there alive. One in color, one in sound. So these two are combined there. So this is how Kama and Krodha. When the Kama, desire, is abstracted, it takes the form of anger. If somebody is angry, know for certain he has got 100 desires. That is why he is getting angry. If a man becomes angry once in a day, that means he may be 1 or 2 desires. Suppose he has got 10 desires, he will become 10 times angry. Because any one of his desires is abstracted, he becomes angry. 10 desires are there. So if you abstract 10 times, so he will become angry 10 times. Swami, I am very short-tempered, I become very angry. It is in your own hand. You reduce your desires. That strong desire that things must happen only according to me. So if somebody else has a way, if you don't want to give him a little scope, you say, I must have my own way. Then he will say, no, I will not follow you. Abstraction is there, and you become angry and quarrel. So the Kama and Krodha are the two sides of the same coin. Shaknoti heva yassodham Kama Krododbhavam Vegam. Kama Krodha. Kama is the desire, strong desires, and Krodha is anger. Udbhava Vega, the urge that is created for these two things. There is an urge for becoming angry. There is an urge for desire. I must enjoy this one. I must go and scold that fellow. It may look strange for you to scold that fellow will have any, when somebody has any desire. You yourself know when you become angry, you feel, I must go and scold him. All people will say, don't do that one. After all, it has happened. It is unnecessarily, why do you go and go to his house again and rake up the whole lot? No. He has scolded me. At that time, I was not aware. Now, tomorrow morning, I am going to plan, and then I have got my set of scoldings to be delivered to him. He will plan everything and go and rake up a quarrel and tell all the bad words to him. Perhaps receives equally back and then comes back. See, the Krodha, the anger, is like that. People have an urge for anger. The urge of the anger, that means the velocity that is created by the pressure of this anger inside mind, as well as the lust in our mind. Unless these two are controlled, he that is able to control, yaha sodhum shaknoti, he who is able to control these two, prak sharira vimokshanat, sharira vimokshana till the end of life, prak sharira vimokshanat, throughout up to the end of life, one should be able to control one's anger and one's desires. So if one controls one's desires and anger, if you control one, the other is controlled. So if desires are controlled, automatically anger is controlled. If one can control one's desires, not for 1 day or 2 days, throughout one's life, until one's life ends itself in death. So the whole life, if a man can live without desires, desires means not the desire for eating or drinking, those desires that take us away from God, from thinking about God, from spiritual matters. So these unspiritual desires, so if he can keep away all his life, then he will be in charge of, he will be controlling the urge for anger and urge for lust. Urge for desires goes away. So first of all, it comes as an urge. So the desire, how does the desire come? We see an object, nothing happens. Oh, let me have this, urge has come. When you say let me have, just a knowledge of an object, is not harmful. When that knowledge generates a desire in us, then it becomes an urge. So we say, let me have this. When you say, let me have, you have started the game full. Then afterwards, how to have this one? Where is the money? Where is the other means to get it? What may be its cost? So I don't have the full money. Who will give me the money? Shall I beg? Shall I borrow? Or shall I steal? That's the third method. So third method also people go because they have to satisfy the desire. So the urge comes. So these urges can be controlled only by controlling one's desire and anger. Desires and anger, if they are not allowed to rise in our mind, then the urge does not come. First of all, that when thought comes of the object, then the object creates a desire for it. When the desire comes, then the action starts. So, kama krododbhavam vegam yashaknot sodum yashaknoti. He who can control the urge of the desires and urge of this anger all through his life, sa yuktaha sa sukhi naraha. His mind remains concentrated on his own spiritual nature, concentrated on Brahman. Sa yuktaha, that means he remains concentrated, and because his mind is concentrated on God, concentrated in his own divine nature, sa sukhi naraha. So he is person who is free from any disturbance in his mind, calm, quiet. Sukha, sukha is shanti, the peace. So he is full of peace. The peace of a person depends upon his mind being concentrated on spiritual matters. That he is spiritual, God is there with him, there is nothing for him to worry. The world can do nothing to him. He is beyond all the difficulties of the world because he is Atman itself. And this Atman is part and parcel of Paramatma. Only when you forget this one, we think that we are our bodies, we are men, we are women, we are old, we are young, we are in certain situations. All the problems of life haunt us. If behind this one, if you are aware, no, that I am a man, it may be there, but it's secondary. Primarily, I am the Atman. I am part and parcel of Paramatma. God is there with me. I am with God. What fear have I? If this idea is there, the situations cannot shake us up much. We will be steady under all circumstances. So this is what we call as controlling the anger and desires and becoming calm in our life. So this, when a person remains in this calm state, that means he is collected in the thought that he is not the physical body or the mind, but he is the spiritual child of God. God is all there with us, every one of us. We are all children of God. We are sitting on the lap of God, only we don't remember it. So when we try to remember it more and more, now we are remembering we are bodies, we are sons of so and so, or daughters of so and so, or father of so and so. Therefore we are thinking we are bodies. Suppose I always think I am a child of God, I am a child of God, I am a child of Sri Ramakrishna, I am a child of Shiva. If I go on thinking like that, more and more this thought comes, our divinity expresses itself. We begin to feel the joy of that spiritual nature of us. Now our physical nature we are stressing, so we are getting into all troubles of this physical life. Whereas when we think that we are the spiritual, so much of peace and joy comes into us, so much of spiritual strength comes into us. So this sloka says, if we can control the desires, urge of the desires and our anger, our mind remains calm. In a calm mind, this recollection of our divinity continues. So more we know that we are divine people, and more we feel that there is a protective force behind us. We are part and parcel of God Himself. We are on His lap. There is nothing for us to go and come. We don't have to go elsewhere after we give up the body. We are on the lap of God even now. We continue to be on His lap. There is nothing like going and coming. We only tell God, don't make me aware of this body. Make me aware of yourself as my father, mother, my everything. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhusya sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya, tvameva dravinam, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. You are my everything. more and more we begin to think about it, more and more we feel we are there with God and God is with us even now. There is no moment we can be when we will be away from God, because we are inseparably one. That is the very conclusion of all the experiences of great people. It is not that we are going to get united with God. We are already united. We are not aware. We must become aware of it. The famous story in the Vedanta, somebody said he had lost his umbrella. He has tucked it behind his own shirt. It is there on his back. So he has forgotten. Hey, koda enge pochira, koda enge pochira. He is going on making everybody also restless. Everybody is appa koda pochi enge pochi, appa. Everybody is searching. And after some time, it is there on his back. Oh, I have found the umbrella. That is the wrong expression. You have not found it. You have forgotten it, you have remembered it. You put it there afterwards to take it up when you want. So you forgot about it. You forgot, you remembered it. So when you forgot, you lost it. When you remembered it, you got it. There is no question of getting mukti. Mukti is already there. We are muktas. Only we have forgotten our mukti. We are muktas, we don't remember. We are children of God. God is with me and I am with Him. He is now, right now with me. We forget that one. They say, oh, I have lost God. I must search for God. So some people say, we will go to Kailasa. Oh, go and search for God. He is there behind your back. You can go and search in Kailasa. You can go and search in Vrindavana. You can search in Kashi. Anywhere you want to search. In the end, you are going to get it on your own back. You don't have to, you will not get anywhere. It is in our own heart, in our own self, the Lord is there. To remember this one constantly is to become really free, is to attain liberation. That will happen when we control anger and lust and keep our mind calm. In the calm mind, the recollectedness of our union with the infinite Brahman always is there. So when the recollection continuously is there, then we feel that we are spiritual, we have nothing to do, we were never born, we never will die. All this physical world is a play of that infinite Brahman. He plays in his own way. So each one is taking his own part and there is a drama going on. It is not going to affect me anymore. So this realization will come. This is what we call as mukti. Mukti is freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from the miseries of thinking that we are the body, we are the mind, we are the ego. To be free from this idea that I am not the body, to feel that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not my ego. What am I? I am that infinite self, part and parcel of Paramatma himself. I am the Atma and Paramatma is the Supreme Self. We are always one. So that is the real truth. If you go on remembering that one, then we get freed. This is the real liberation. Liberation is mukti. Mukti is freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from outside world. We are already free. Outside world is not holding you up. It is the inside, my ego, that is tying me down to this body. As long as I am feeling I am so and so, attached to my body, I am tied to the body. I am attached to my mind, I am tied to the mind. I am attached to my ego, so I am tied. When my attachment to all these three go, that is real freedom. That can come when I know my real nature. My real nature I can always know when my mind is calm. Always it is contemplating on the fact that I am one with God. That recollectedness can come when these disturbances are removed. The disturbances are the anger and the lust and the desires. So desires and anger go, mind becomes calm. In the calm mind, we know our own real nature. When we know our real nature, our false personality of I being man, I being a body, I am my mind, all these false ideas fall. So this is liberation. So this is the way to liberation. Liberation is not going to heaven. That heaven is within ourselves. Not that heaven is not there. Where that heaven is the question. That heaven is not there above the physical sky. It is in our own heart. Inside ourselves there is all the heavens, all the blessed places are there. So next to this one, na kevalam kama krodha Vega samvarana matrena moksham prapnoti. It is not only simply controlling one's anger and desire that leads you to the highest liberation. There is something more also to be done. What is that? Yo antasukho antarararamaha tatha antarjyotirevayaha sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto adhigachyati. This has been already told there indirectly. Now directly this fact is told. You see, one does not attain liberation merely by subduing the urge of passion and anger. One has other characteristics too. What are these other characteristics? Yo anta sukhaha. That person who is happy within his self itself. He is happy within his own Atman, within his own spiritual self. He is not having joy outside, but he is having joy inside himself. Inside himself means, I am the Atman, I am eternal, I never die, nothing can kill me. How old are you? No, there is no age at all. I was never born. There is nobody has any record of the Atma's birth. Atma has been there. When were we born? The body was born. Before this body was born, where were we? We were without the body. So where was? Perhaps I was in a previous body. Before coming into that previous body, where were you? Another previous body. And previous body. In the first body, how did you get in? You were there even before the first body. So that means we were there without a body. We have been without a body. Only we get into the body and body goes away. Again we get into another body, body goes away. So we are really the self which has no birth at all. What we call as birth for the self is when the self identifies itself with the body and then body goes away. We say, oh, that self is dead. And when the body takes birth, we say, oh, that self is born. When the self is identified with the body. Otherwise, this every one of us were never born. Even as per reason, Vedantic reason, you cannot say you are born. So you were born getting into this body. Before this one you had another body. You were another body, another body. How did you get into the first body? You were there without a body. For some reason you got it. We should not bother about the reason. But somehow first body we got it. So because of that body we created certain desires. To enjoy the desires we took a second body. So the chain goes on. But as we are in our own intrinsic nature, our real nature is without body we can exist. We have been existing. We continue to exist. This is our real nature. So a man who thinks that I am an eternal being, I was with God, for some reason God has put me into the first body. Afterwards the samskaras have been created. So that samskara brought me to the second body, third body, fourth body. Maybe I have got 100 bodies behind me. I am lucky if I had only 100, because Buddha says he had 500. Buddha says, I remember 500 births of me before I became a Buddha. If Buddha had 500 births before him, we must have at least minimum 500, if not more. So 500 bodies we have taken and come. So naturally every time 500 into 100, that means 50,000 years we have been thinking we are bodies. How can I get out of this idea? 50,000 years we have been thinking about that we are bodies, we are not the souls. That is the problem. So it has gone so deep into us that we cannot live without a body. But with the experience of this spiritual nature, by the help of the Guru, by the help of the sadhana, by the grace of God, so that 50,000 years samskara is destroyed. And then we come to know, no, I was never born. Only the body was born and body died. I was thinking that I have taken 500 births. No birth was there for this. To remember this itself is the greatest joy. That I was never born, therefore I will never die. So when this idea goes deep into us, then we never think that we are the body. Then we are released. Yo anta sukhaha. He always enjoys the joy within the Atman itself, thinking that he is the Atman. Now, we many times enjoy thinking, oh, that we are so and so. So I am a sannyasi, so I am happy. Another man thinks, I am a very successful householder. He says. Another person thinks, I am a successful officer. He enjoys. So we think about ourselves and we have an enjoyment for that. So we have achieved something through this body, and we are this body. So when the Atman thinks about real itself, myself, I was never born and I will never die. So what was I before I was born then into the first body? I was God himself. God is the primal matter, primal principle from which everything has come. So I was one with God. So God has been with me right from the beginningless time, and I am with him now also. Thinking like this itself is merged in the highest joy. So this yo anta sukha, he who has his joy inside himself, in the Atman itself. Atman enjoys the Atman itself. Atmaneva atmanatushtaha sthita prajna stadochyate. Sthita prajna, man of steady wisdom, is described as Atmaneva atmanatushtaha. The Atman thinks about the Atman itself, and it feels so great, joyful. Oh, I am the Atman, I am the Atman. We can never imagine that joy. We can imagine that joy of the being free from all body, mind, senses, ego, to a small extent when we think or imagine our state in our deep sleep state. Deep sleep. So we go from the waking state into the dream state. From dream also stops. Then we go into deep sleep. All of us experience this one. According to psychology, they say all of us experience only about 20 minutes only. We think we have slept for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours in the night. No, you have not slept. You have dreamt, that's all. You have dreamt 4.5 hours. Only 20 minutes of deep sleep normally a man gets. That 20 minutes gives us all the refreshment. The refreshness we get out of the 20 minutes of deep sleep. In that deep sleep, what is our feeling? I am not the body, I am not the mind. There is no world. Nothing is there, no manifested world. Only I am there. Who is that I? That Atman. We in our state of Atman, where we have no mind, we have no body, we have no senses, we have no ego. We are without everything. We alone are existing there. All around, only unmanifested darkness is there. We cannot call it as darkness also. If it was darkness, how will you see? We feel that we are very happy. Whenever anybody gets up, how was your sleep? Wonderful. It was as if I was dead, and it has made me fresh. Now I can go and do that half done work. You have gained energy. How did you get all this one? All this one because of the 20 minutes of our own contemplating our own real self. Anta sukha. The joy in our own Atman we experience in a very dim way, not in a bright way. It is not samadhi where we know our own real nature, but our nature covered by what you call as the Adya Prakriti, the Mula Prakriti, the primal state of creation. So only that is there. It is not manifested in any form. No form. But the Prakriti is there. It is covering the Atman. Therefore, I know that I am alone. But that I am everything, I don't know. I am everything. Beyond me, there is nothing else. So that knowledge does not come. But there is nothing other than me all around. There is nothing other than me. I have no body, I have no mind, I have no ego, I have no senses. I am myself. What is this myself? We do not know. But being free from these fetters, that itself is a great joy. We have been tied with 4 ropes, and one is irking here, one is irking in the neck, another is irking in the thigh, another is irking in the hips. Suppose those 4 fetters are removed, how joyful you feel. Those of you who have gone to operation in the theatres, people, they come and tell us, Swami, after the operation they say, I should not move, therefore they tied me. So they tied me here on the chest, tied me on the leg, and tied me in the hands. How miserable I felt. When they will remove this tie, I did not want anything. If they remove this tie, I can feel tremendous joy. And they do feel. Oh, how are you? Oh, they have removed all the ties. I am very happy. You see, the removal of the tie itself is a joy. That is what happens in our sleep. In our sleep, we don't enjoy the real joy of the Atman, but the tie on the Atmans, this body, feeling that I am the body, feeling I am the senses, feeling I am the mind, feeling I am the ego. All these four ties are removed. So if you ask this Atman, oh, I was wonderful, there were no ties, four ties were removed there. But there is much more than that. It is not by removing simply the afterwards you must get up from the hospital bed, come out and play tennis, then only you are happy. Until then you are not fully happy. This Atman also, by going into dream, he does not enjoy. He must come back, go into Samadhi on the other side and know his real self. That is the real joy. So that is going to be explained in this sloka. Yo anta sukhaha. He experienced the joy of the Atman himself. He thinks that I am this infinite Atman. He comes to realize that. When I feel that I am the real Atman, which is immortal, which cannot be killed, which is everywhere, at all times, in every place. Infinity we say, infinity in space, infinity in time. And every time, any time you see, Atman is there. Anywhere you see, Atman is there. Atman does not sleep. It has no three states. It does not awake, it does not sleep, it is not in the dream. It is always there awake, once and for all. At all times it is there. And then it is everywhere. You go to Swarga, there it is there. You go to Naraka, it is sitting there. It is in the earth there. Everywhere this Atman is there. There is the story of that one in Bhagavata. So, in Bhagavad Gita also the name of that rishi comes. Asito Devalo Vyasaha. Asita Devala. Asita Devala means the black Devala. Devala is the name of the rishi. He was black in complexion. He was a Brahmajnani. Then his disciple thought, you see, the Brahmajnani means he is all over, everywhere. He is infinite. He is this Asita Devala, my guru, everywhere. Then the Shishya had the power to go to the different worlds. He just immediately flew. The Asita Devala is sitting and meditating there on the seashore. This Shishya went away to heavens. And then he says, Asita Devala is meditating there also. Huh? What is this? The Asita Devala must have come here and he must be meditating. He may not be in the earth. He runs immediately to the earth. There also he is meditating. Simultaneously he is meditating. In the earth also, in the heavens also, perhaps in the underworld also. A man who is Brahmajna is everywhere. There is no space for him. He occupies all space, he speaks all time. This is infinity. He becomes infinity. What a great joy. You don't have to go anywhere. Just you think you are there. That's how the Upanishad describe the joy. A man of realization, if he thinks about his pitris, who are the elders who have passed away, immediately they are there before him. That means he is there. He becomes aware of the Pitraloka and he is there. He sees all the Pitrus are sitting there. So like that, everything, whatever he wants, if he wants to see all his other children who are passed away, he will go into the children's loka. Devatas he wants to see, Devatas are there. But whenever he thinks, then itself it appears before him. He is everywhere. If we can think about it, that we are that, we are capable of that, what joy it is. There is no limit to that joy. Yo anta sukhaha. This person of realization is merged in the joy about his own Atman. Further we shall continue in the next class. Vasudeva sutan devam kamsa chanura mardanam devaki paramanandam Krishnam vande jagadgurum.